whispering in the trees. It's two cities and they're on leave.
I was terrorized as a little kid. Not because I was smaller than anybody or anything else. There were bullies on my street. So I had to take a detour and walk down a different street. Couldn't walk down my street, my own street, to go to school, 3 blocks. Because when I got to that 3rd block, there was a group of bullies. A couple of them were older than me. One of them was my age. He lived in that neighborhood, in that general vicinity of his bully neighbors, and they bullied me. So I walked a different way. I didn't really feel good about myself, but I wasn't getting smacked around for a couple of days. Once they found out I was walking down another street, I got pursued, and I got hassled some more, and I got pushed down. And they called me mean names like chicken, pansy, a few others. I told my parents, these guys are hassling me. I was just a little kid. I'm talking 7, 8, 9, maybe years old, 10 at the most. At the most. I don't even think 10, but that'd be an awful long time for me to get pushed around. It had to be younger than that, probably 7 or so. You know what my parents told me? We can't fight your battle. I expected my dad to go punch his dad in the nose. You know, the one that was really hassling me. It was pretty much my age, but a little fatter than me. He could push me down because he had a bunch of his bully friends hanging around, and I had no one. But I expected my dad to go punch his dad in the nose. And my parents told me, both of them, God rest their souls, we're not going to fight your battles. Gloria Lynn on line 1. Hello, Gloria. Welcome to the Region Underground, the real radio program on the planet.
What? I have to give your family credit because, you know, when my dad took that walk and left us and my mother had to move from one neighborhood to the other, I went to about 7 or 8 different grammar schools. And when you'd go to those schools, you know, they would put the stick on your shoulder.
Right.
Like this morning. And, you know, and the fight was on. They'd always wait till after school. But do you think I came and told my poor mother about this thing? No, I didn't tell her at all. So finally, when she got settled in a neighborhood that we lived about 12 years, then she decided to move to a native neighborhood that was, you know, and our neighborhood was called the Gangs, it was called the Huns, and the neighborhood over there. And I had to go through the alley, but I never told my mother. But, you know, we had fights, but I never told my mother. These people nowadays are trying to keep their little darlings. You understand? They're making them weak. You understand?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I heard your phone call to another program today, and I couldn't agree with you more.
See, when I came on your show, you know, I didn't allow you to point your finger at me.
Well, I didn't mean anything. And besides
Thanks,
that, I
Jen,
think you
for
could
waiting.
still take
Welcome.
me.
Thanks for having me. I wanted to touch on what you said earlier about how the Times ran this story in the way that they did without appearing to have really checked the facts of the case. I mean, it's one thing to have an attorney representing a family whose child has accused other, classmates of a really severe bullying, but how do they not go back and check all the facts before just running with the story? Is it because it was sensationalized, because it was based on race or religion? I mean, the reality of it is bullying, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's because you're too fat, too short, too skinny, your skin isn't the right color, you're not the right religion. I mean, like you said, kids have been getting picked on since the beginning of time at very young ages. But the reality of it is bullying is bullying. I don't care why you choose to do it or why children engage in it. It's not acceptable, and we've got to find some way of teaching children, not just outside of the classroom or outside of your school, but in the schools, that it won't be tolerated. If this kid was picked on so severely, according to, you know, the things that were said in that article, that it had gone on for a long time, were all of those incidents documented at the school level? Because it seemed like the principal didn't, or superintendent didn't have all of that facts, all those facts, that it was like the
Jason
first they had heard
has
of
been
it.
waiting. We'll go right to the phone lines, and I'll tune it up after that. Thanks for waiting, Jason.
Hello.
Hello.
Preach. Normally, I don't hang on, but I really felt the need to hang on to the commercial break to talk with you on this. Normally, I agree with you spot on, Preach, but I only halfway agree with you on this one. I got to say, it's a pretty controversial position you're taking here. Not that you're any stranger to that, but I don't think violence is never the answer, Preach. I mean, only in certain instances is punching the bully back in the nose going to help. If it's one guy that's picking on you and he's whopping on you, that's one thing. But when it's this gang mentality like you're talking about, Preach, you know, you do something, then they're going to retaliate, and it just can keep getting bigger and bigger until eventually the law is involved. And I disagree that if you get bullied when you're younger and you walk away, you're not going to get bullied your whole life. You can't, in the workplace, bullying goes on all the time. You can't retaliate with physical violence because you lose your job. This is not a society where violence and that type of stuff is tolerated, Preach. I mean, that's just what I think about that.
10-4, and I appreciate, and thank you so much for waiting and giving us your opinion. Well, and again, this is on a daily basis. What I say is taken out of context or misunderstood.